Welcome back to another Film Geek movie review. Today, in just a bit, I am off to check out the new action comedy Freelance, starring John Cena and Alison Brie. So what is the plot of this movie? John Cena plays a retired special ops soldier who's working as a lawyer. A friend of his comes to him and asks him if he could take on a freelance job of protecting a journalist played by Alison Brie, who is stuck in a third world country covering the dictator that's, well, controlling this third world country. So it seems like it's going to be a pretty easy deal, easy cheesy, in and out kind of thing. And unfortunately, a coup occurs while the two of them are in this country. So John Cena has to fight his way out and protect Alison Brie to see if, I don't know, he could save the day or whatever. Oh, and I also forgot the president of this country. The president of this country is also with them. So he has to protect this president and Alison Brie. So boy, oh boy, does it look like it's going to be a wacky movie. No, I don't mean that in a mean way. There's just been really little advertising on this film. I saw like one trailer about this movie a couple months back, totally forgot about it, going through the AMC app, and I saw it was being released this weekend along with Five Nights at Freddy's. So I'm like, well, let's go check this out. I do like John Cena. I personally feel that Peacemaker might be the finest role that he's ever taken on. I do really enjoy him in that. He's a pretty good action star. I like him mostly in action comedies, so this looks like it might be right up his alley and right up my alley. So it's enough of me sitting here jibber-jabbing on and on and on. It's time I get out the door because I'm off to go see Freelance. Welcome back. Just getting home, and guys, bad news. This film wasn't all that great. I really didn't enjoy this movie at all, and it could be contender for one of the worst movies I've seen so far this year. Alright, so we're going to get this started like I like to do. We're going to start with the negatives and then move into... I'm going to try my damnedest to give you some positives so that the video ends on the ever so important high note. Okay, well, this isn't necessarily a positive, but I will say my favorite part of this movie is when a guy sitting about 2 seats over from me and 20 minutes into the movie fell asleep and then snored loudly for the next hour and a half. That was a more movie-going experience, not necessarily the film, but it gives you an idea of just how goddamn boring this movie was. I mean, come on. It's a John Cena action film, and it was boring as hell. There is very little action, zero comedy, and really not a lot of action to be had in this film. The movie kind of fails on all levels. It's supposed to be an action comedy, and as I've said before in films that are, something, split genre, I like it to be kind of a 50-50 blend. Good action, 50% at least good action, 50% solid comedy. I did not laugh one time in this movie. Now, there was one dude in the movie theater, like one dude out of the 6 of us. Yes, the 6 of us. I did see it in the afternoon, but still. He was cracking his ass up. I mean, the whole damn time, every time John Cena would be like, well, I don't know, he would just start dying laughing. The humor is so so bad. It's like there was just nothing for the actors to work with in this movie. This film also has the audacity to have outtakes at the end of the film. Like, I don't give a shit that you took something out of this movie. You did not take enough out of this movie, guys. That outtakes should have been almost 45 minutes long. It was just so boring, and the story is very weak. The characters, unfortunately, aren't that likable. They try to shoehorn in some, I don't know if you want to call it something political or not, because there's really no point to this movie whatsoever. But one thing it also tries to do is create a romance between Alison Brie and John Cena, and it's just freaking weird, and the movie even calls it out for being weird. It's like they're sitting there and they're kind of in a hot and heated moment, and the whole thing is like, it's like Stella getting her violent groove back is the point of this film. John Cena's all bummed and depressed about his normal everyday life, and that's why he decides to take this job, right? So he wants a little excitement, and I swear it was just the weakest idea. So his wife gets upset with him. His wife's like, no way, man, if you leave, we're done. And I'm not giving you spoilers. This is like the beginning of the film. This is the setup for the character. His wife kicks him out of the house in the first like 10 minutes of this movie. So he's like, well, gee, I've been kicked out of my house, so I guess I'm gonna go kill a dictator. And that's what he does. He goes off to go do his little protection assignment against, with this journalist. And they try to shoehorn in this romance, and the movie itself even calls it out. She starts to get all hot and heavy, and John Cena's like, whoa, hey, I don't know, this seems a little weird. I mean, I am just recently separated from my wife. And she's like, oh yeah, it's only been a few days, hasn't it? This is kind of weird. End of scene. Moved on to just more dead, boring violence and dead, boring jokes. The movie had horrible pacing. It was so slow. The guy who fell asleep at the very beginning of the movie probably had a much better time than most of us who saw this film. The acting in this movie isn't bad. We're going to give it a positive here. The actors in this film do the best with what they can. I mean, they try so bad. John Cena tries hard to deliver jokes, but even he knows how bad these jokes are when he delivers every one of them. It felt like each time he did a joke, we should have a sad trombone just going, wah, 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 because it just was like that every time. It just fell flat every damn time. I don't know, guys. I am going to have to say that, yeah, this is a definite. I don't say this often. I normally say if it's not something that you would want to see in the theater, at least you should stream it. And guys, I feel like this movie should just be put to rest. This isn't worth your time. It's not worth the money for the theater. It's not even worth your precious time when it comes into a streaming service. There's much better stuff for you to watch out there. I really also hope that this isn't a blemish on the actors' careers. Period. I know John Cena has been doing really hard trying to get into the action-adventure genre, and I feel like this movie really wanted to be a nice little launching path for him, but I think he needs to really focus on his Peacemaker character if he wants to get more into action. This movie really wanted to be something like Romancing the Stone meets The Rundown with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and it just does not ever get to that level of quality. There's just things that happen. There's tons of plot holes. The movie is just not well made, unfortunately. So guys, in my opinion, I say this is a skip it at all costs. Just let it go, pretend this movie didn't exist, and move on with your freaking life. Alright? Sorry about that. Well, I guess I had to see it, you didn't. Okay, well that's all I have for you today. If you liked what you saw here, go ahead and subscribe to the channel, ring that bell for notifications, and give me the old thumbs up so I know you like what you're seeing. And if there's one more thing you can do, folks, that is keep watching movies. You know I'm gonna.